I welcome all the participants for fourth webinar with Mizoram Central University. We have a distinguished speaker with us, Professor Srinibas Pathi.
That's very interesting. And he told me that we have the partner state Uttar Pradesh and we talk to them in Hindi. It's not about language, it's about the connect. And these people, by connecting to another state in northern India, they have a very good emotional bond with India. Arunachal Pradesh, it has that new industrial units, medium, small, micro units in sync with their tradition, culture, geology, and ecology. So they have the sustainability which is to be emulated by the places where we have such kind of ecology and such kind of geological system. You know, they have the ecological balance when the people, they do not want any kind of heavy industry, but whatever is in tune with their system they want to follow. And this one is a mixture of culture, heritage, necessities of modern time, and also innovative practices. When we come to the next state, which is the hub of entire Northeast, Assam. It is called the central or the focal point of the Northeast. You know, Assam, the state which has the boundaries with shared with most other states, including some international boundary towards Bhutan. So when we talk about Assam, it is one state. I have picked up one area which is so important. All of us know education and human resource development is the major point when we talk about government, governance, people, and making people available for the development of a state or for that matter for the entire country. Assam is one state in India which spends about 5.6%, some say even more, from the state GDP towards education. This is well above the national average of spending in education. Dear friends, as we all know, Swami Vivekananda, the saint philosopher, India's cultural ambassador to the world, who told education is the manifestation of perfection that is already within us. And if we educate someone, we have the light which comes out and illumine everywhere. And this was echoed by another great son of India, former president, writer, and thinker, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, our former president. He was telling, if you educate, then that is the best gift we can give to our people. Assam leads all the way, not only among the northeastern states, but in the entire country when they spend maximum for education from the state GDP. And all of you know, this is one state where they have so many programs. Another program is Paribartan for the people in general and mother and child care in particular. So when you know in Hindi and Sanskrit Parivartan is change, and they have that program which is not only for the state but also it can emulate it in rest of the country where we think of change, because as all of us know, philosophers say change is the only constant in our life, and Assam leads all of us. Then another very important thing, which is one of the best practices in Assam, is flood early warning center. Maybe it's the first of its kind in the entire country and in the subcontinent, in the entire Asian region, where you know Brahmaputra, the major river of Assam. The entire Assamese ecosystem centers around river Brahmaputra, is worshipped, and there you know flood has havoc every year, almost annual feature. But now Assam has learned to have peace with such system and how to deal with that flood system, which this early warning system of flood is another big area which can be emulated by many other states in north and eastern part of India where they suffer due to flash flood, particularly during the monsoon season. And as all of you know, that Assam is one state which is the hub for the entire northeastern region, and all other states, one way or other, directly and indirectly, they depend upon Assam as the role model, and Assam leads all the way from the front, and most of the states in the northeast for their market, for their communication with other parts of the country, they depend upon Assam, and Assam as the eldest sister among the seven sisters leads all the states. Now we come to another state which is called the best part of Northeast in terms of their location and their ecology, Meghalaya. You know, Shillong has one of the finest golf courses in the world, pine trees, beautiful people, culture, guns, dress pattern, and all those things where the clouds have peace with the people. Meghalaya, the abode of the clouds. Meghalaya is the state where they have so many best practices, and we learn a lot from Meghalaya, where the another very top class they say that how to have these basins, how to manage the basins in the system. And you know, in India, the basins, river basins and valleys, they have a big place in our economy, in our culture, in our society. And Meghalaya leads the way when they have this basin management agency. And not only in Meghalaya, but also in the entire Northeastern region and for the country, it leads us and we learn from them. Then the, you know, PPP is the way of life today when we talk about having one synchronization of technology, resources, governmental rules, people's participation, leading to rapid infrastructure development. One of the states in Northeast, Meghalaya, also leads all the way when they provide up to 30% of subsidy to the tune. They have some limitations of money, but still the private participation in infrastructure development, and Meghalaya has that part in their development. When you know, when we talk about development, good governance, providing good life to the people, this one area, infrastructure development, that is one big challenge, not only in Meghalaya, but also in the entire northeastern part of India. And they accept it. They get it from the nature. They cannot avoid, you know, this type of geological, geographical condition. It has to stay here and we have to live with it. And Meghalaya, it leads all the way when we learn how to have private sector participation with promotional avenues on the part of the government, resource generation, resource activities to be there in the state when we think of infrastructure development and how to have subsidy channelized for the betterment of the state in terms of infrastructure development, industry in sync with their culture and their necessities. Then coming to Manipur, you know, Manipur is one state which is called the powerhouse of sports in India. Dear friends, you all of you know the sports icons of Manipur who have made India proud in Olympics and other global arena. And Manipur, it has the proud presence of almost 19 Olympians in minimum 5 types of sports activities like hockey, boxing, weightlifting, judo, and archery. And Manipur sports persons have made India proud in the world arena. And people look forward to Manipur sports persons. Another very important point that you have Manipur Sports University, which has got unique courses which we can find nowhere in the country and maybe very few places in the entire world. And you know, Manipur is one area where we have sanitation and nutrition days. This one unique system, it has a very direct link with government and governance. They adopt it, they practice it, and many in other parts of the Northeast and also in India, we need to emulate, we have to follow them. Because when we talk about Manipur, we cannot forget another very important program which is now being applied in other parts of India also, Digital Manipur. You know, when we talk about physical distances, where we have got typical problems of communication, transportation, Digital Manipur provide the solution. One stop solution for the officials, for the leaders, for the citizens, so that so many things can be emulated by one program, which is Digital Manipur. And this one particular state where you have got very typical traditional dance, culture, music, song. It also has such modern things where tradition meets culture in a big way, and we get it from Manipur. Coming to the state where I have spent more than 2 decades, my dear second home, Mizoram. Dear friends, last year it was adjudged the happiest state of India. Entire state was celebrating because I'm tempted to share with all of you, dear friends, those who have not visited Mizoram, a tiny state in the extreme corner of Northeast India. One side we have Bangladesh, other side we have Myanmar, and in between we have a tiny part of India full of smiling people. If you have any idea regarding Guinness Book of World Records, 12, 13 years back, entire Mizoram in the capital city of Aizwal, whole city was dancing. You must be knowing very popular chireo dance or bamboo dance. When whole city was dancing, and by dance, by music, by song, they win hearts with a smile. And this particular state, Mizoram, the happiest state, it has the best part, that is trust. You know, in the context of good governance, in the context of government, people's participation, trust and confidence building are the major areas. But here, the tiny state of Mizoram leads from the front. Trust level is so much that whenever we talk about anybody, you just go on the street of Mizoram, anybody who doesn't know you will smile at you. Here, there are no strangers. There are only smiling human beings. And this particular state of Mizoram, it is another also important point where we think rainwater harvesting. This one area where there are so much of rain, but very difficult to store, to have piped water. And each one of them, the villages, towns, hamlets, wherever you go, they have a fantastic system of rainwater harvesting, which is so much essential for today's government and governance system where we need to conserve water, not only for normal use, but also to replenish the groundwater. So here is a place, Mizoram, where we find rainwater harvesting system, traditional and modern both, how to emulate in other parts of India. And dear friends, cleanliness. Let me share my anecdote. The day I arrived in Mizoram, the capital Aizwal, I was moving through and I saw small red bins. I saw so many post boxes in one street. What is this? Then after some time, the color changed to green. Then my friends here told me, no, no, these are not red post boxes. These are the community owned dustbins where people on any occasion, Saturday, Sunday, whenever they are free, they join together and they go for cleanliness drives. Community participation in cleanliness drive. That is Mizoram. And when we talk about cleaning the government, having good governance, we all talk about anti-corruption measures. We talk about a clean government. In Mizoram, I think most of you might be knowing, they have experimented with people's participation in clean election system, and they have many experimentation. One such is MPF, Mizoram People's Forum, and its counterpart in southern Mizoram. They have the people's participation in having a clean election, less corruption election, less spending of money, as all of you know, because money spent in election has to come from somewhere. And the people, if they themselves believe that that is the way when we can have less money spending, less corrupt practices, and clean election, that will lead to a clean government and clean governance leading to good governance. So if I go on talking Mizoram, there'll be on and on. But when we feel that this one state, if someone is happy, someone has a very high level of trust, they have belief in cleanliness, then only we can go for any other parameters principles and practices of good governance. Coming to Nagaland, dear friends, this one state, Nagaland, it is extremely popular in the entire country and also outside for the Hornbill and many other music festivals. That apart, Nagaland is also very popular in the field of organic farming. Alternate grievance redressal and dispute redressal system. You might have heard about Gaon Bura system, the elders in the villages, how this traditional system, which is in sync with the Nyaya Panchayat system in many other parts of India, it has actually resolved many of the conflicts at the level of the village. And the people, they need not go to the formal judicial system. Dear friends, if you go into the archives of Supreme Court of India, state high courts, and many other judicial systems in this country, you will find the backlog of lakh and lakh of court cases pending for decades and decades. But here, one state which provides this system where people have faith in their elders, they believe in it, and they want that without spending much money, how they can resolve their issues inside their own village. You know, the Nagaland is one state which implemented this fourth level of industrial development, that not heavy industries, small, medium, micro industries, but with the input of technology, state of the art technology. Nagaland is one state that implemented the fourth level of industrial development. And one another issue which we all should know, that this one state, Nagaland, it has the material flow cost accounting system, which is the another very big thing in environmental performance and cost reduction in the government. So if both the things are taken into account, it takes care of environmental protection and also reduction of cost. Dear friends, as you know, that when we talk about Indian planning, for a long time, maybe first 50 years of Indian planning, we were all talking about that in India, planning is golden. When it comes to paper, it becomes silver. But in implements and monitoring, it becomes iron. But if we know that if today we think of planning from the idea to the policy, to the plans, to the scheme, implementation, monitoring, feedback, if at every step we think of ecology and environment, we think of cost reduction, then much of the activities will be almost within the budget provision we have. So here Nagaland is one state which has this particular material flow cost accounting with environmental performance and cost reduction system, which we have to follow. Another thing is that Nagaland, we have to learn spring set development. Before I talk about spring set development, dear friends, all of you who have gone to the metros, big cities in India, but the major issue there in cities like Hyderabad and Bengaluru, people say not long ago, around 50 years ago, there were hundreds and hundreds of small water points. It has greenery, but within last 50 years, with unbridled urbanism in our mind, urbanization in the field, we found that today we have very less this ecosystem of our metros and our big cities, where these dying water points, most of them have given rise to developed areas in terms of skyscrapers, big apartments. But when we think about it, that 50 years before, these areas were also having greenery with water points. So what happened? That it has a direct impact on the availability of water now, the ecosystem of the area, sudden rain or no rain, heavy sunshine or heavy shower. So it has something, entire system is now into disarray. So people, they think, oh, what was the golden days when we would have so many small water points in the city. If you want to have groundwater, we have to, how to replenish is a big headache. And now in some cities, they have the rationing of water. Even if you have the water points, but it's very difficult to have unlimited water, basic minimum water for the people. At this point, Nagaland provides us a very interesting and also to be emulated by one and all the spring shade development system. There are small springs in Nagaland where they have made regeneration of the springs that we will have water. And if you have water points, then developing the ecosystem around small water points become very easy. So it manages the present needs, it manages the groundwater and also keeps something for the sustainable future. So spring set development in Nagaland is one area which all of us need to emulate. And if these are now accepted, so forget about the past. Past is past. So if today we resolve, tomorrow we can have a still better and greener future. And Nagaland leads all the way in this area. Then now I come to Tripura. Dear friends, Tripura is also having international boundary with Bangladesh. This is one state which has a very, very typical tribal, non-tribal existence where some people, they belong to the tribes, others are non-tribes, but still Tripura is having a very good area where they can coexist without any conflict. Tripura is one state which is the first state in India to have this CNG system because natural gas, Tripura has that natural gas. So when they talk about compressed natural gas CNG system, the first CNG system started in India in a tiny northeast state of Tripura. And now it has gone to places. But still, when we talk about CNG, we talk about Tripura, talk about Agartala. Dear friends, in Tripura, they have another very interesting to emulate, that is in the high courts of Tripura, they have started that e-government mechanism in high court. You know the clock in the courts, clock is a very important symbol that people say seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years, and decades. The cases continue. So how to monitor it? So Tripura is the first state in India who started the let us have a digital clock in the courts. That means we will monitor how physically and also mentally that we can have time for this type of digital clock system, the justice clock, they say. And entire judicial activities, much of it started to be digitized with the state of Tripura, and now many other states they follow. If some have not done it, Tripura is the role model for most of them. Now coming to last but not least, the beautiful tiny state of Sikkim, the Himalayan state of Sikkim, which merged with India in 1975. Dear friends, what to talk about Sikkim? This is the symbol of courage and resilience, not only in Northeast, not only in India, but the entire country, Sikkim. They face the maximum fury of the nature when the earthquake strikes Sikkim. You know how it makes news nationally and globally. But the people of Sikkim, they could withstand many such things in their life and they could come up. So resilience and also preparedness in disaster, we all learn from Sikkim. It's not all. Sikkim is one of the beautiful states of India where we find plastic-free environment. The first state in India where almost all the land, farmlands, they are organic, certified organic land system, the first organic state in India. And Sikkim, they celebrate everything with nature. Almost all individual inhabitants, the citizens, they have adopted trees like our children. we adopt children, adopt a tree, register in your name, and you are responsible for the maintenance of that tree. What a beautiful idea to live in sync with nature and our ecosystem. That is Tripura, dear friends. Then this is the first state in India, open defecation free state in India. The eco-friendly packaging system in India, they don't use those items which cause environmental degradation, plastic and other thermocol thing. They use these leaves and many other natural products. So when we talk about Sikkim, that beautiful, tiny Himalayan state, it taught us, it is teaching us that how we can live in sync with nature and what about this sustainability. Because if I go on talking about these issues, dear friends, there'll be so many things. But to make in short, let me tell you that we can discuss when question answer comes. If I take globally, what are the takeaways in principles and practices of good governance from India's Northeast? Let me summarize a few of them. That is, number one, community participation in government, governance, and development. The entire Northeastern region, all the states, they are the leaders, outstanding leaders in community participation in the country. So wherever you go, the people individually, they are talented. And as a group, as a community, they are the powerhouse. So if we talk about these states, then first and foremost, we talk about community participation. Dear friends, as all of you know, that any program of the government, any program of development, funding comes, ideas are there, public policy is in place, development strategy is there, but without people's participation, no program can be successful, even what we talk about achieving the desired goals and objectives. So if we make a global statement about the entire Northeastern region, I talk about the community participation, wholehearted individual, group, and community participation as the hallmark of the entire India's Northeast. Next is high level of trust. So, getting personal, dear friends, we cannot imagine in other parts of the country, this maybe in a place like sunny Singapore, where religiously people believe that you shouldn't have lock in your door. Forget about that sunny Singapore, for entire country. Suppose when I was going to Delhi for some work, I forgot to lock my door. 4 days after, when I came, I cursed myself. What a fool I am. I didn't lock my door, or I locked wrongly. Somebody has entered. Dear friends, everything was intact. That is the level of trust we have, not only in Mizoram, but in the entire Northeast, which is unthinkable in many parts of the world. So when we talk about good governance, talk about people's cooperation, coordination, the high level of trust, we find this is to be emulated. And when some people lament that, oh, we do not know about Northeast, I say that is our bad luck. If you don't know, but if you know, you will fall in love with the area, the people, and how do they live their life in the face of extreme issues, challenges, they make them into opportunities. So the next idea which I talk about, making challenges into opportunities, converting challenge to opportunities, we have to learn from these states. A natural disaster, geological disaster, and the advent of modernity, modernization, slowly degrading the ecosystem, but still having all the traditional issues, practices, ideas. The people of Northeast, they believe that if we are at peace with nature, then no amount of challenge can be there. We can make them into opportunities. So that is another takeaway from the entire region of Northeast in India. Then this combining tradition with modernity. Dear friends, we know we are in a continuum from tradition to present day to future. Here is a place where the ideas are futuristic. In present day, we have got dreams in our eyes, and we have not left tradition, culture, heritage behind. We are carrying forward. So whenever we talk about Northeast, this is one area, one part of India, our beautiful India, our great country, where we find our tradition, modernity, they go hand in hand. People, they say that we cannot leave our tradition, which is our background. And we have to be very, very strong, resolute presently. And when we talk about the future, we have to be cautious. We have to learn from the failures and successes of the past, resolve today so that we can have a better future. Suppose when we think of Northeast, we also know that resilience is another big takeaway from the Northeast part of India. You know, disasters. They come, most of them come unnoticed. We are in this level of geological system where anytime there can be earthquake, there can be any kind of landslide. Natural disasters are many, floods, but still resilience is one area where people of Northeast excel, and all the people living here, they know how to be resilient. So in the face of extreme trouble, they are happy. A smile on their face, they try to deal with the challenges, problems, issues, and also they carry on and they carry forward. Last but not least here, that is innovation. Dear friends, imagine that they are not just rooted in tradition, they just only dream today, but also they think about innovation. In entire Northeast, if you move around, you will find many, many practices which are there, which even today people cannot dream of, and they do. I just get one example here. You must have heard about some roadside
Sir,
shops without
sir,
shopkeeper.
due,
Yes.
sir, due to paucity of time,
Ah,
we need to
yeah,
conclude
yeah,
this,
1 minute,
sir.
just 1 minute.
Yes.
Just one. Oh my God. Oh, okay, 1 minute. I'm completing. So when we talk about Northeast, there are some shops without shopkeepers. So can you imagine? There is a box. People, the passerby, they go there, they put money and take the item, and the shopkeeper come the evening to collect it. Okay, all right. I'm so happy that I could speak something. You know, when there is an ocean, you have to take some drops. I have taken drops. Rest for all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to take away. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for giving a very, very beautiful picture of Northeast, and like you said, seven sisters and one brother. This is new information, maybe at least for me. Next, we have Dr. Sadashivam. He is going to speak on good governance initiatives in India, cornerstones to development. Let me introduce him as well. So, Dr. Sadashivam is an associate professor of public administration in Mizoram Central University. He has been very active in teaching, research, guidance, writing, and publication, and his areas of interests include e governance, good governance, development, administration, and public policy. He has published more than 40 research papers and articles, and he is also associated with G20 University Connect activities and Viksit Bharat activities. We welcome you, sir. Sadashivam, sir.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
now it's all yours, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me an opportunity. And first of all, from my side and from the Mizoram University and Department of Public Administration, I would like to say a big thanks to the National Center for Good Governance, Delhi, and also Dr. Surendra Kumar Bagdeji, our Director General, sir, and of course, Dr. Imanchi Rastogi, ma'am, the faculty in our National Center. So what I will do is that instead of talking all other things, I just straightly go to what I'm going to discuss. Already, sir, Party has already discussed about the Northeastern perspective. What I'm going to tell you here is about the good governance, I mean, the initiatives which has been going on for so long in India, but I'm just divided some of the initiatives in terms of what central government is taking up and what some specific state governments are doing. And later then I will show you about some challenges which we are facing right now, especially on the way of achieving good governance. So I just want to show my PowerPoint. Of course, just a minute. Can everyone see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So, so the point is, before we go into what are the initiatives and all, being a public administration student, my teacher always says that you have to start with the theory. So I think for 1 or 2 minutes, I'll just start with the theory, especially if you see when we are talking about governance, why we, in general, why we are talking about governance, because governance has always been a goal of any government, right? So, or a state. But why is that suddenly we are talking about governance for last few decades? The reason why we are talking about governance, the importance of governance is, again, you have to see the impact of what globalization has brought about and on the administration as such, not only in India, but all over the world. And especially on the context of India, if you're looking at the impact on administration, we have seen how market has led to change the system of public service delivery, and which we have seen earlier from a single mode of delivery from the government side. Now we have multi-stakeholders who are providing various services. And, and because of that, what we are seeing is that the government has become more broader in terms of governance. So the concept of governance has become more broader, and especially when we are talking about towards good governance, I think as a student of public administration, we have to again think about the NPM, New Public Management. And New Public Management, again, as all of you know, here, if you got a chance, I think many of you might have read also, and those who have not done, I think I request everyone to go and study what David Osborne and Ted Gubler has talked about in his book Reinventing Government, which was published in the year 1992. And I think the emphasis on NPM, central theme of NPM is about, if you read what David Osborne and Ted Gabler is saying, they're basically talking about we need more, we don't need any more government. We need better government actually. And to be more precise, they say we need more better governance. So those days are gone when we are talking about more government activity. Here right now we are talking about better governance. And I think all of us in India, we already know what Prime Minister Modi has already talks about, the minimum government and maximum governance, right? So that is a mantra of all in Indian, especially at the central government level. So David Osborne and Ted Gabler, back in 1992, they already talked. So NPM reforms, if you're talking about, of course, it's focusing more on market, restricting the state, all those things. But even as a student of public administration, we can take some of the features from NPM, especially when you are talking about good governance initiatives. Like for example, in a citizen charter or a transparency or accountability. These all are basically you can take out from a concept called NPM. Now, there is another reform which you are talking about, governance reform. Now, of course, governance reform is much broader than NPM reform, because governance reform talks about all the stakeholders involving in the society, not only the government, but also the market and the civil society, all together working for solving the society problem. So right now, when we are talking about good governance, I think we have to remind ourselves that every time that the problem what we are facing in a society, it's not only only the government can take up. I think it's all the stakeholders initiatives, be it a state, be it a private sectors, be it a market, be it a civil society, anyone. I think all of us involvement is important. So in this background, what I just told you, the theory of, the good governance, I think I will just straightly go to what are the initiatives which government of India is taking, and also some of the state government initiatives specifically focusing on public service delivery. Because after all, when we're saying good governance, it's all about welfare of the people, the common man, the common masses. So especially the public service delivery. I think the first, the good governance initiatives which we have to appreciate is the digitalization of public services. Especially in the last few decades, if you see more than one decade, the technology has enabled the welfare services, welfare delivery system. And I think even the world has appreciated the India's transformational landscape, how we have made the population scale technology work on the ground. I think the good example is the DBT. And I think I can show you here, if you look at the slide, I guess everyone can see here. This is the DBT, the direct benefit transfer. As all of you know, the DBT has made all the public, especially the subsidies and other kind of services to the people directly into their account, and this has made the leakages and all those, the middleman. It totally avoided all those things and how it has benefited. And here I have just highlighted from 2019, 20, and 21. If you see the financial year, interestingly, these are the COVID time, pre-COVID and post-COVID and COVID time. Interestingly, you see how the government of India has basically, transferred such the benefits which the deserving people need to get, the poor people need to get into their account directly. Of course, I'm not saying here that the DBT is a foolproof. And we already know there are so many cases which came out from Jharkhand, of course, from Bengal, and there was some corruption issue has been there. But even then, we have to appreciate what the DBT has done across India, and that's why you can see the number of schemes in cash schemes or an in-kind scheme, how it has expanded, and throughout from 2013 to 2023 financial year ending March 2024, and it's very surprising again to know that more than 36 lakh crore has been till now government of India has transferred to the various beneficiaries in India. And this is the reason why, as I already told you, even World Bank institution, IMF, everybody is praising India about how we have done such a country which everybody is always question marking our ability about the technology where we can use such a big population. But we did that. And I think I can give you a good example. During Russia-Ukraine war, I think still it's continuing. During Russia-Ukraine war, there was energy crisis, right, in all the European countries. And I think many of you will be surprised to know that these many European countries, they are very facing a problem how to give energy subsidy, because they don't know who are the real poor or the real needy people. And what happened, they started giving subsidies, energy subsidy to almost all the population in the European countries, all the European government. So in that way, I think we are much better with this technology. At least we know who are the real beneficiaries. And in that account, it's going their money. So this is the table which I was showing you. And of course, these are the two top cash schemes and in-kind schemes, MG Narega, scholarship. If you look at here, there are various schemes and scholarships in DBT, but these are the two most top cash schemes and in-kind scheme, MG Narega and the various scholarships, and of course, the PDS one. And the other one, this also you can see, and of course, the next one, if you can see a number of beneficiaries which have been looking at here, how it has increased. Again, 2020, because it's a COVID time. And of course, the government of India has implemented Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, as all of you know. And because of that, the number has increased. So all the beneficiaries in the DBT has basically increasing so much. And again, I think when we are talking about DBT, when we had this digital G20 meeting, in G20 meeting also there was one task force which was being established by the government of India, especially for DPI, digital public infrastructure. And I think we need to talk about DPI also, because DPI, what happened is that now, as all of you know, India is becoming the leader in showing to the world about how, with a very cheap amount, I'm saying very cheap in the sense, very small amount, a technology can be export in the sense it can be given to any country can implement the DBT, the digital public infrastructure architecture. And of course, when we are talking about the digitalization, I think again we need to divide into two phases. In India, the first phase, if you are talking about digitalization, it's all started with the National E-Governance Plan 2006, and of course with the Digital India in 2015, where we have Aadhaar card, right? Then we have UPI. Then after that we have CoWIN. All these are first what you call the reforms in digital public infrastructure. But now we are going into the next stage. So next stage of DPI is basically about how we are using artificial intelligence, how we are using Internet of Things. So DPI has seen, from stage 1 to stage 2, we have just seen how it has grown. And interestingly, I think there might be some students will be there in this group who are attending this. I would again request them, please study the link between SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, and Digital India, how DPI or a Digital India, how we can achieve sustainable development goals. And there are number of reports at the international level which shows that how technology can be helpful for using, especially for achieving the various sustainable development goals. And India, of course, India also doing that. You might know there is a Sustainable Development Goal Index, which is prepared by Niti Aayog. And in that also, if you see how various goals in which was been mentioned in the Sustainable Development Goals through Digital India, how much we can achieve, that also it has been clearly shown. And because of all these initiatives, what government of India is doing, especially in terms of digitization, now you see the slide which I'm just showing you, the ranking of India has improved in terms of online services. And United Nations e-government survey index, if you see, it clearly shows how we have reached the level. In 2014, the rank of India was 118, right? And after that, it started, our ranking was improved, 107 in 2016, and of course in 2018, 96, and 2020, it was, of course, it has ranking a little bit, it has come down 100 and 100 because of Corona and so other things. But even then, if you see this here, I just put the SAARC country. Now, among the SAARC country, of course, we are much better. And if you look at the average score also, especially in online service index, we are much better than Asia average. We are much better than the world average. So online service index clearly shows that India's average is much more than Asia, than the world average also. So United Nations Survey Development Index itself showing that where we are going, actually, our path, where our path is going on. So in terms of technology, so this DPT, what I was just told you, or DPI or Digital India is one kind of a good governance initiative which Government of India has took. And of course, as I already told you, there is a challenge, and the biggest challenge in DPI or a Digital India is the data which I was showing you, all of you, is that the crime, the cyber crime is happening. And here I'm not talking about the National Crime Records Bureau data, which basically publishes cybercrime data every year. Here I'm just giving you the data of only the Computer Emergency Response Team. And here, interestingly, if you see, I'm just giving you only the government organization, the attacks, cyber attacks on government organization, and more importantly on financial institutions. Again, you can see during Corona period how much the financial institution cybercrime incident has increased. From 2019, it was 6,600 cases, and suddenly it gone to 7 lakh. So it's a big jump number, right? So one hand, of course, India is progressing well in terms of adopting digital technology, providing services to its own people. But on the other hand, what we are seeing is there has been increase in a lot of cyber crimes, and not only related with the private sector, but also the government sector. So this is one which I would want to talk about, the good governance initiative. Now, if you talk about the second good governance initiatives which Government of India is taking, and I think I should start from the Department of Administrative Reform itself. And I think all of you know we have a Prasashan Gaon Ki Aur campaign. It's a very good campaign which the Government of India started, and I think the credit should go to Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India. And interestingly, why I'm talking about this Prasashan Gaon Ki Aur, and for those non-Hindi audience here, Prasashan means the administration, or you can say in terms of governance towards village, right? Now everybody is talking about village. Village becomes more important because India is such a vast country in terms of geography, in terms of language, so much. And providing a last mile connectivity service is always a challenge. Please remember, we have to remember that, as I already said, providing last mile connectivity is always a challenge. So Prasashan campaign ki aur is basically a very good initiative where basically now again from 19 to 24 December, this month itself, Good Governance Week, which we are going to celebrate, which we started from 2021. In that week, Good Governance Week, again we are going to see this campaign where public grievances of the people will be tried to take up, try to redress. Similarly, the service delivery applications, they try to dispose. And interestingly, if you see in the year 2021, it was the first year of Prasashan Gaon Ki Aur campaign. Interestingly, more than 6 lakh public grievance letters have been addressed within that week. Just imagine, within a week, more than 6 lakh cases, public grievances have been redressed. And in the next year, 2022, again, the same campaign the Department of Administrative Reform adopted. Now that in grievances has increased to more than 50 lakhs. So you can imagine, I mean, the way we are handling the grievances. So that is why the importance of the third initiative, which is again, the credit goes to the Department of Administrative Reform, is CPGRAM. So CPGRAM, if you look at Centralized Public Grievance Redressal and monitoring system, this grievances, I think we have to remember that for any government organization, if any government wants to be more accountable, responsive, or what you call so the participation of the people, I think the first core criteria or the foundation is the grievances of the people. I think we need to redress the grievances of people, which is most important again in terms of achieving good governance in the society. And here also, if you look at CPGRAM, how interestingly CPGRAM is doing for it's very interesting. And I was looking at some data, from 1st January 2024 this year till October 31st 2024, CPGRAM has redressed around there was grievances of the people around 18 lakh grievances. Imagine, from January 1st this year to October 31st, even this few months, there are more than 18 lakh public grievances have been addressed in CPGRAM. People have been addressed. And interestingly, these are for the central ministries and departments and PSUs. There are separate data exists for the state level and UT, if you look at. So, and there again, if you see during same period, January 1st, 2024 to October 31st, 2024, there are more than what you call more than 6 lakh cases, grievances case have been, again, people have been addressed there. So, and interestingly here, one thing which I was very amazing to know that there is a system called feedback call center. So, and feedback call center was started in the year 2022. And here, of course, people used to file their grievances, and how to know that the grievances have been, the government, whichever department, central or a state or any PSU, how they are handling these grievances. I think we should know, right? So I think in that way, feedback call center are doing very excellent work again here from the Government of India side, if you see, which was started in 2022. I just give you one simple example. In the month of October, at the central level, I think there are total central and state, if you look at, around more than 66,000, I think, feedback call has been made. The center feedback call center has made a call, more than 60,000 feedback. And if you can divide it, it's more than 30,000 feedback call for the central ministries and department, and more than 20,000 more than 25,000 for the state and the UTs. Now, of course, here, this is a very big thing, but again, there is one thing which I want to highlight to the audience is that one side grievances, CPGRAM is fine. I understand, I appreciate that thing, because grievances you need to redress. But if you look at the satisfaction level of the people, I think the data shows a little bit, we need to work out. And especially the data for the month of, if you look at the data for the month of October 2024, the people who have been satisfied, there are only 50% of the people satisfied with the central ministries and the departments. And for the state level, it is very, very less, less than 50%, it is 36%. So just imagine that the people's satisfaction, of course, at the center, it's 50%. I think in this field, I think we need to work out. And that is why here I need to mention about the Parliamentary Standing Committee report, 121 report, Parliamentary Standing Committee on Department of Administrative Reforms, which was submitted in December 2022. Actually, it talks about how to address all these grievances, redressal, and which I will talk to you when I discuss about the challenges. So this area, one side we are addressing CPGRAM, it's very good, but on the other side, how the satisfaction level of the people, I think we need to improve on that count. Of course, Department of Administrative Reform is doing its best. Recently, last year in the month of March or May, they started grievance redressal assessment and index, which is again a very good initiative, where we will know which ministries, how they're handling in this index the department, which is again good initiatives. So I think the time will tell. Maybe in the next few years, 1 or 2 years, we will know how this grievance redressal index assessment and index is going to work. So this is regarding the central government. Coming back to the state level, because if I don't tell about state level, I think it will be injustice. Because after all, we say India is living in all different states. So the first initiative which I would like to tell you here is about what you call, start from the Jammu and Kashmir. Now, Jammu and Kashmir is very important because as we know, we all are attachment to Jammu and Kashmir. But in Jammu and Kashmir, there is one program I think you can see in my slide. I was showing you here. There is Back to Village program. Back to Village program, again, just imagine it's going back to the villages where this program was started in 2019. So till now, there are 5 phases have been done. 2019 first phase, 2020 what do you call the second phase, then 21, 22, 23. So there are total 5 phases under Back to Village program. Here, this program is very interesting. Why it is very interesting? Because here, this program talks about the communication gap which we want to reduce between administration and the people, especially the people living in a village, rural areas, panchayats, right? And here, the civil servant needs to visit during a particular period of time to those panchayats, allotted panchayats, and they will go there in a specific period of time, and they will collect all kind of information from the people who are living in the villages. What are their needs? What are the problems they are facing? And they always, they always write in their booklet. There's one booklet, of course, which I can show you also here. Just a minute.
Sir?
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you saying something?
Yeah, no. I want to show. I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah. Can everyone see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, interestingly, this is a booklet. Booklet where what it mentioned is that in the last follow-up year, what they have written, these bureaucrats and the civil servant, when they go to the field, local area, they have to fill all these details. You can see here. So this is one follow-up. So here you can see the particular. For example, in one village, they said that we want to replace the 5-decade-old water supply scheme. Now, what is the action taken? So here, the civil servant will write what kind of action they have taken. If they have not taken, then the remarks. So interestingly, this Back to Village program, which Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir government has taken, it's making, as I already said, communication gap between the people and the administration closing down. Now, why it is important? Because in public administration, again, we always talk about top-down approach. I think Back to Village is basically from bottom to top approach. So you have to ask the problem from the ground, from the people who are living on the ground. Then only you can make the policies more effective and their participation. So Back to Village program is one such program I think we need to study, and I think many research has not been done on this because it started only in 2019. So I think I request all the students to do some research on this for their future perspective also. Now, second important is because the National Center for Good Governance is located in Delhi, but I think I need to talk about Delhi model. So in Delhi, there is very famously Arvind Kejriwal government has started about in the year 2018, as many of you know, that is what is called as Delhi Doorstep Delivery Public Services, right? And interestingly, this public service delivery at doorstep is very, there might be some people who say that Delhi is an urban area. What does it need to serve people in the doorstep, right? But interestingly, if you see the logic of this program, this logic of the program says that they want to avoid the hassle-free, standing in the queue. And more importantly, the middleman and so many other things. Because Delhi, like people are so busy. If you go to Delhi, you know really what are the challenges in Delhi. So in order to avoid those, they want to appoint a mobile sahayak. Sahayak means assistance in English. So anybody wants to avail their services, there are initially they started with 30 services, then expanded in 2019, they expanded into 40, then 30. So 100 services overall. Services like, for example, if you want a water connection, electricity connection, income certificate, caste certificate, or domicile certificate, even including license also, right? Or any other permits you want. These kind of services have been given. Interestingly, if you see in this program, Doorstep Delivery Delhi model, in the first year itself, there is one, under this model, there is a call center called 1076. So anybody wants to avail these services, they can call this number, and the mobile Sahayak will go to their house, to their doorstep, and they'll collect all the documents and they will upload. And again, if they want a document, again they'll come back and they will give the documents back to them, or maybe by post. So in the first year of this program, there are more than 13 lakh calls have been made. More than 13 lakhs calls have been made in the first year of this program. Of course, many of those calls have been related to queries or complaint. And out of this more than 13 lakh, only 2 lakh more, about more than 2 lakh calls have been directly related with the services. And here there was what I studied from observatory. There is one OECD platform which put up the innovations of observatory public sector innovations. So if you get a time, you go to that observatory public sector innovation website, which is from OECD, and they put up this Delhi model about this delivery public service model. And interestingly, they say that scheme has benefited, especially those areas in Delhi, like for example, those who know Delhi very well, place like Silampur or Alipur, or you can say Shadra. And interestingly, these areas, you see the people are very poor, you know, the below middle class. And there, the people from these areas, Silampur, Shadra, Alipur, there are more than 80% of the people have access to services, doorstep delivery. And opposite, if I give you the data, opposite for defense colony, Punjabi Bagh, the data is opposite. The opposite is less than 50% or around 50%, right? So I mean, the data shows that the poor people or the below middle class people, I think they are the more who are accessing the services, right? So I think, and again, there is a lack of research on this Delhi doorstep delivery. Again, there is a need for more work on this Delhi doorstep delivery so that it can come to the public. So these are the two services which I just want to highlight here from the state perspective. Now, coming back to what I call the challenges, right? So I just close my PowerPoint so that I just talk about my challenges. Now, there are 2-3 challenges which we found in the public service delivery and of course for the good governance initiatives. The first one is, of course, the time-bound delivery of public services. I think those people who are in Delhi in the year 2011, go back to just recollect in 2011 what happened. I think in almost all the Delhi roads and all, there was a protest for bringing, Lokpal, right? And during that time, 2 legislation came. 2 bills came actually. One is of course Lokpal and Lokpayuk one which came, and second one nobody remember. And second one is right to services, right to time-bound public services and redressal grievances. And I think many of us forgot, I think, that one. Of course, the first bill became a law in 2013 and it came 14. But the second one, everybody forgot. What about the time-bound delivery of services? Although right now we talk about all electronic delivery services, which is very good, but what about the time-bound? Because even electronic delivery service is very good, but we need to make time-bound. And here again, I need to quote what Parliamentary Standing Committee, 121st report, Parliamentary Standing Committee report on administrative reforms, public grievances, says that we need to make public servant accountable for time-bound delivery of services, right? And how to make time-bound delivery of services, that is very important. And I think there is a right time now. We need to introduce this time-bound delivery of services. Again, secondly, there is one more challenge which we found is, of course, government is providing online services. That's fine. But again, go back to 2011. There is another bill which came that is called as Electronic Delivery of Public Services, Electronic Public Service Delivery Bill 2011, which has been introduced in the Parliament, it has been given to the Standing Committee, Lok Sabha, and after that, nobody knows what happened to that bill, Electronic Public Service Delivery Bill, right? Of course, many states like what you call Andhra Pradesh, they already have electronic service delivery like Me Seva and all. And Karnataka also Sakala Act is there, including my own state in Tamil Nadu. We have Tamil Nadu e-governance list of services are there. But even then at the central level, what I was talking about here at the central level, I think from the parliament level, we need to have some kind of electronic services, public services bill. And here, if you go back to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Information Technology 2011 recommendation, which it has given, I think it's relevant today also, especially in terms of privacy and security. So even now also after the Digital Protection Act, also even there is a concern about privacy and security, especially when you talk about electronic services, public services bill. Second, again, that challenge which was talked by the Standing Committee of Information Technology 2011, till also it's relevant, that is about the literacy level of our people. Especially I'm talking about digital literacy. This is very important, right? So this also becomes more important. Now, the third the thing which I want to, before I conclude, is that because we all are talking about good governance, and I think corruption is most important, right? So unless we eradicate corruption, it may not, good governance cannot be achieved, and especially in the context of governance. But then go back to 1962. 1962 in the parliament when Lal Bahadur Shastri was home minister, when there was a huge, lot of debate was campaigning about we need to control the corruption. In 1956, if you remember, the corruption cases which was handled by Government of India is only 6,000 cases. In 1956, only 6,000 complaint cases, corruption cases, which has increased to 1960s, it has increased to more than 10,000 cases. So, and just imagine 10,000 cases in 1960, and our MPs are demanding need to control corruption, right? And because of that, Santanam Committee report came. So Santanam Committee has been established. And interestingly, although Santanam Committee report was 1964, now we are in 2024, you can see there's a lot of gap of period, 1964 and 2024. But even then, again, I would like to request all the audience to go to and study the terms of reference. If you read the two terms of that, one terms of reference is participation. So Santanam Committee has been asked by Government of India in 1960s that how we can increase people's participation in order to eradicate corruption. I think that terms of reference is still relevant now also, because unless peoples are participated, how come you are going to eradicate corruption, right? The CVC from Central Vigilance Commission side, or maybe from the ministry side, you do everything, whatever you do every year. We all do observance, everything. But unless people are involved, how come you are going to eradicate corruption? I think this one which Santanam Committee has handled, I think this is still relevant even now. And another important thing which I want to link Santanam Committee with good governance in 2024 is about information. But information, as all of you know, is very important in this age, right? And the Santanam Committee report clearly says that as a government, we need to be very clear what information needs to be kept secret and what information needs to be freely available. Now, of course, we can claim that we have a RTI, right? Right to information. And 19 years, just we passed 19 years of RTI in 2024 October. But even then, what about section 4 of RTI? Suo motu disclosure in public domain. If we do that, interestingly, RTI application will not be this much of lakhs, right? And interestingly, if you look at RTI info, the data, there are top 3 or top 10 ministries where RTI has been more. Railway, Ministry of Railway, right? Ministry of Railway, Ministry of Home Affairs, where you'll find that RTI data are more. And I think here again, as I said, we need to put more information in public domain. And I think the section 4, which talks RTI at suo motu disclosure, is very important here. So Santanam Committee, although it's 1964, but even in 2024, I think it's still relevant. We can take whatever we can take from Santanam Committee report for good governance. Now, coming back to conclusion, the conclusion is very simple. I think as a father of our nation has already said, we have to, whatever decision or initiatives we are taking, whatever policies, program, whatever initiative we are taking for good governance, I think we need to remember the face of the poorest and the downtrodden person. Are the decisions or are the initiatives, whatever we are taking, does it improve the lives of the poor man? Does it improve the lives of the poorest, the marginalized people? I think these votes summarize the entire discourse on good governance initiatives and development. And as I already said, good governance is not end here. It is a continuum process. We have to understand that. And for achieving good governance, I think all the stakeholders is important. And being a public administration student, I think before I end, I want to tell you that in order to have all the participation of all the stakeholders, we need to have a theory called new public governance. So new public governance clearly says organizational pluralism. So not only state, not only the market, not only the private sectors, not only the civil society, or not only the individuals, everyone has to participate. Then only this good governance initiatives, what we are talking about, can become more fruitful and more fruitful for the development of the society. And as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already said, the core of good governance is service to the people, that is the poorest man, that is last mile connectivity. Thank you all. It's my pleasure that I share my experience in this platform. And if you have any question and any doubt, any clarification, please.
Thank you, sir. I mean, I completely second what you're saying that every person's participation is inevitable. Good governance doesn't start with or end with policymakers, and I'm sure government. I mean, you have pointed out very thorough data on this, and there's some good practices also that government is doing. I mean, regarding service delivery, if we talk about the Madat app, which is for railways, or we see the pioneering work that passport is really something that is appreciated globally now, the service delivery of passport. And many like my colleague sitting here, Mega's mentioned that digital what Mega? Digital personal data protection bill. Yeah,
PDM.
already been rolled out by
Already.
the government of India. So by baby steps, but we are progressing, I hope. There's one question we saw in the chat box from Dr. Anil Kumar Sharma. It is directed to you, Sir Sadashivam, sir.
Yes.
So please clear that all seven sister states have great potential in natural resources, tourism, and many others, but still lagging behind in development in areas where present government of India initiated, but lot to be done for them. Yes, insurgency and many other factors are responsible. Now, how do these states can join in the mainstream of all round development?
Uh, is this question for me?
Yes, sir. So
Okay,
it's in the chat box.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So, thank you first of all for Dr. Anil Kumar for this question. I think, as all of you know, Northeast has a very peculiar, the features which you cannot compare with a Southern India or a North India or any other part of India, right? And of course, now it has been developing in terms of the investment. It has been put up by the donor ministry and also various other central ministries. And if you know, especially the 10% gross budgetary support of the central ministries, and the 10% they have to spend on the in the northeastern part of it, which is already coming up, and various infrastructure. And I think the good thing is you just see the good governance index. I don't need to tell you anything. Just go and see the good governance index of 2019 and 2021. And I think Imanshi ma'am is there. She knows 2023 is going to release by our minister in the good governance chief. It is going to come up. You see that in the 2019 and 21 report, good governance index, the Northeastern has improved so much in public infrastructure and utilities, which is which suggests very important thing. And which again commiserates with the central ministry, what central ministry is doing with a lot of investment. So there is a strong correlation is there. And again, the another thing which I want to tell you in the Northeastern is slowly catching up is the human resource development. I mean, in Northeast, we have this problem of human resource development because we are teaching in Mizoram Central University. We know here what is the challenge we are facing in terms of human resource, right? Again, if you see the good governance index, again it shows that the northeastern states are doing excellently in human resource development. And if you go and see the other states, you don't find states like UP, Tamil Nadu, or Karnataka, or Bihar, or Odisha. They are basically doing good in public infrastructure, allied agricultural sectors, social welfare development department, commerce and industry. But they're not doing on human resource development. And I'm not telling you anything out of this world. It's already there in good governance index report. But Northeasterns are doing very well. Again, health. If you see the health sector in good governance index, again Northeasterns are doing very well. Except some maybe you can say Nagaland or Arunachal are not doing that. So I think slowly the Northeastern states are catching up. Yes, yes. Is there anything?
No, we're just muting. I think.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the point what I'm telling you is that Northeast is slowly. That's what Patisari said. If you are missing to come to Northeast, I think you are missing something in India. So I think I request everyone, please, at least in your lifetime, visit Northeast. This is our humble submission from me and Sir Pathi. Thank you.
If there are any more questions,
one question to Pathi sir.
stay. So, Pathi sir, one question has come to you.
Sir, hi, this is Megha Tomar. Sir, I have a question from you. Like in Northeastern India, there are so many artisans and there are so many art that locally is available. how can that become a part of governance, and how that can help improve the state to bring good governance there?
Okay. Actually, the issue is India is such a varied and complex society. Here, there are three levels of government and governance. There are some issues which are completely local, some issues which are state level and regional, some which are truly national. So, depending upon the issues, the challenges and problems, and the possible solutions which we find, we can take about all these issues at the local level, at the state or regional level, and at the national level. So the point is, if we get one good idea in one of the states, which is relevant for one state or the region, that is good. But if one issue, one solution, which has national ramification, that also can be taken. So there is no one-stop solution for any issue or challenge, and for that matter, any solution. So here, what we have discussed just now, that India is such a place where there is everything available. But one last concluding what I can tell you, this is one society where minimum 3 centuries coexist. We have 19th century, they are very rural setup, the bullock carts, the people with the transistor radio. And we have 20th century, we have bumpy roads, we have public transport, and some kind of black and white TV. Then we have 21st century with high flying society in some places with state of the art technology available to us, digital India, and we have that technology where people are very tech savvy. So India is a society where minimum 3 centuries coexist. So the problems, the challenges and issues of these 3 centuries have to be tackled with that alarming ideas which come from the society, the culture, and also government. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This has been a very informational session, although we've taken liberty of time for the participants, but it has been very, informational, as I said, and also the in-depth research that you both, sir, have presented. It's I think it is in any way and in a good way should get more attention towards Northeast, towards the issues of Northeast, towards the beauty of Northeast, sir. So thank you for joining. Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you to Pathi, sir, as well as Sadashiv, sir. And thank you for participating to all the participants. As we understand, this is an ongoing series. It is a monthly event that we try to engage speakers from different institutions. So please, it is very well appreciated if more and more people can benefit from this. So thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Thank you all.
And
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.